Welcome, everyone, to this episode of the MBE Enterprise Podcast, where we talk about money, business, and entrepreneurship with some of the brightest minds I know. Today, I am joined by the Trana Bros, Dylan and Brandon Trana, real estate wholesalers out of Phoenix, Arizona. Boys, how are we doing tonight?
Blessed, not stressed, man. Thanks for having us on. This is going to be a fun time, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm super excited to be here. Thanks for allowing us to just use the platform. And thanks for having us.
Well, I appreciate you guys coming on, and I love having these guests on, just getting to pick their brain a little bit about, their area of expertise or, any other categories that might come up. And to start off with you guys, your guys' area of expertise, your business is real estate wholesaling. I kind of want you to take us back here to the origins of your company, how it kind of came about, how it got started, its progression along the way up till now, and then kind of just where we're at today with it, boys, if you want to take it away from there.
Yeah, absolutely. So we graduated high school like during Corona. You and Alex did too, so we kind of like knew what was going on. And so Dylan was going to college up in Fargo, North Dakota, and he moved in because they kicked everyone out the dorms, and we were just kind of like living at home, he was working at a bank. I'm working like a construction job, and then following semester, he moved back up to Fargo to go back to college, and I'm just like living in small rural farm town, Minnesota, just like, all right, I got to get out of here and do something else. So I moved into his apartment. This was still in 2020, probably like October. Probably like 3 years ago today, actually, or not today, this month. But and then I didn't apply for college. That wasn't my thing. I had like $25K saved up, and my living expenses were about like $500, $600 a month. So I'm just like, all right, cool. I got time. I'm gonna just figure out what I'm gonna do, because like college definitely wasn't the route for me. So I'm literally just on my laptop trying to figure out how to make money, online businesses. And Dylan's doing homework at college on his laptop. So I'm just like, all right, dude, I'm going to figure this out. And I tried, everything, e-commerce, drop shipping, affiliate marketing, like you name it, everything you could see on TikTok, bro. I tried all of it. Not very long. And then I found out about wholesaling. I'm just like, okay, this is actually something really cool. And I told Dylan about it. I'm just like, yo, bro, we can literally just get someone to sell their house and then sell the contract for like 10K and make that in a month. And he's just like, holy shit, no way. So we started to look into it a little bit more, and he literally dropped out of college the next week so we could both go full-time wholesaler. And we found a mentor who's based here in Phoenix. We're living in Fargo at the time, and we literally we hired him. He gave us the game, and we just honestly started ripping, because he's literally going to college to be like a loan officer at a bank, but you don't even need a degree for that. So bro is literally just getting in debt for like no reason at all. And it honestly resonated a lot, because like we're trying to own properties, have passive income. And we were just like, Dylan's thought process was, oh, okay, well, if I want to buy properties, I need money. So let me just work at a bank. And I was just like straight to it. Like, all right, I don't even have the money, but I'm going to go find these houses. And that's kind of how we found out about wholesaling and kind of got into it.
Yeah, dude. So a couple points I want to jump to from there. Brandon, you mentioned the idea. What was it about real estate wholesaling, of all the kind of trendy topics, ideas, right, you brought up for business models? What was it about it that kind of made it stick to you?
I just personally liked that real estate's a physical asset and it's not going anywhere, where I knew like, okay, I have 25K saved up. If I invest into a business, right, if I do like the online drop shipping or any of that stuff, I'm just like, if I just like invest my money, I'm going to lose all of it. And then just the fact that real estate is real, it's not going anywhere, and I don't have to have it's like low barrier to entry. So I don't have to have a lot of money to get started with it. So I like looked at my situation. I'm just like, okay, I don't really have to invest too much right now, but I have this money and it's going to buy me time, which is I don't have to go to a job full time. I can literally just go full time into this because I have time, because my money's paying my bills. So I kind of just like it, and it's real, right? And it's like everyone wants passive income, and like owning assets is like the way to get passive income going.
I think wholesaling too was super awesome, because you don't really need any money to start. It's something real. We've had one of our uncle, who's basically a mentor to us. He's flipped a lot of houses and owned some property down here in Arizona. So that was definitely like a huge thing. Like, okay, this is definitely real. We've kind of like had that exposure to it. But I think just the ability. You don't have to like start investing a whole bunch of stuff. You don't really need any money for it to start. So just seeing that, okay, we can start a business. We don't need any money to do it. We just got to start making phone calls. That was definitely good because we didn't want to just start putting money into something that we didn't even know was going to work. So we're just like, this thing makes a lot of sense. We just got to call a whole bunch of people and we'll find someone that wants to sell their house.
And like when you first start a business, right, you either have to have a lot of capital for the startup or you have to have a lot of time into it. And like we had the money that bought us the time. So we're just like, all right, cool. Like we got the next 7 months to live if we don't even make a single dollar, but we have unlimited amounts of time to literally just work on this and try and figure it out. So that kind of honestly, it just resonated, right? Like the drop shipping, I'm just like 3 hours into trying to like research this. I'm just like, if I do this, I'm losing all my money and I'm going to have to restart and go get a job or drive Uber. Where like this was just like, you just get into it. And like literally, if you just connect with the right investors, people will cover the money for you. So you don't got to worry about it.
One of the things you guys, a reoccurring topic you kept bringing up there is the idea of not needing capital. Could you explain a little more? I've listened to some of your guys' content. I'm aware, but for people listening that might not be positive on what exactly it is you're doing, because I think a lot of people have the idea that real estate, you need a ton of capital, right, to buy a big house or buy a rental property or whatever it may be. So kind of just go through it a little more of kind of what you're doing, what you learned about it, and I guess how you initially found out that you didn't need a lot of capital for it, because I feel like that's a common thought.
So like how he said when he came across it and tried all these different other things like drop shipping, e-commerce, all that stuff, you need to like buy some product and like buy something to sell. So you basically need to start putting money in. You're not even sure you're going to sell it. Real estate, the cool thing, like to flip a house, you do need a little bit of money. There is ways to buy properties where you can leverage other people's money and like they can buy the deal with you. But for wholesaling real estate, all you need to do is get a purchase agreement signed. And I guess like the most you would need to wholesale a house would just be the earnest money. But you could. So basically, this is what wholesaling is. People who flip houses, we all seen the TV shows of people flipping houses. They're flipping houses all day. They don't have time to go find these properties that like a hoarder house. You drove past that house and like there's just a whole bunch of stuff in the yard. It looks like the house is like overflowing with a whole bunch of junk. We've all seen a house like that before. So what we do as wholesalers, we try to find as many of those as possible. We go to them, contact the owner somehow, either through just like going and knocking on the door, looking their address up on True People Search. The way we find deals is we call realtors. So we literally were sitting in Fargo, North Dakota. He comes across it like, yo, we can make $10K. We don't even need any money to do this. We just got to start calling realtors and we can do this. And like, I was just finishing up my third semester of college. So I'm just like, this is amazing. All I'm doing at college is literally partying. I'm not really doing anything. I'm not learning anything. He's trying to make money. I'm trying to like freaking doing this astrology homework. This ain't paying the bills. I haven't got no dollars coming in. This dude's just trying to make money. So a big thing we did right away from the beginning, which I'm very grateful for, is we invested into a mentor that taught us how to wholesale. So we used some of that $25K. We signed up for Astro Flipping, which is like Jamil Damji. He's like our wholesaling coach. And we invested into a mentorship just like from day one. There are a lot of like gurus out there and people who are just selling courses and not doing the business himself. But he was doing deals in the market that we wanted to, Arizona. And the way that we kind of were sold on it is the way that you get taught in that program. And people can do this without even getting into a program. I think for us, getting into something and having skin in the game, investing into a mentorship definitely helped light a fire underneath us. That we started like spending like a little bit of dollars, but we were getting something really good like coaching. But basically what we do is just call realtors, and you can literally type realtor.com, Fargo, North Dakota, realtor.com, Phoenix, Arizona, and there'll be hundreds of realtors. And this is a free way to start finding wholesale deals. So we honestly did that. We're just like, perfect. We got cell phones. All our expenses are going to be as our cell phone bill and food. So we just started calling down like the list of realtors. We're just like, oh my gosh, this is a way to find deals with no things. And what realtors do, they try to list people's houses. So instead of us going and knocking on everybody's doors. And we're in Minnesota and we're trying to wholesale houses in Arizona. It's like there's no way we can physically go knock on someone's door. We just start calling realtors, literally just going down the list and calling every single person, just saying, hey, I'm looking for a house that's a little smelly. I'm looking for a house that needs fixed up. Do you know of anything like that? And you literally get agents' numbers for free. So this is a way we could start finding properties and making offers on properties without even being there.
And two, it's like, if you're going to be a real estate agent, like you're just trying to list really nice houses, but you also have to go through like a six-week program to get your license. Wholesaling, you don't have to have a license because you're like the buyer on the contract, and you're just basically getting a contract between you and a homeowner, and you're just selling that for a fee. So like, I'm not making a 3% commission on these deals. I'm choosing how much I want to make, and I don't have to have a license to it. And then there's also like, there's levels to it, right? So when you don't have that much money, wholesaling is a really good way to generate a lot of cash really quick. And then once you do enough deals, you get more experience. You start actually like building up a pretty healthy bank account. That's when you start buying deals and flipping them yourselves to make, because on a wholesale transaction, at least for us in Phoenix, we're like averaging like probably like 10 to 15K per deal, where like if you flip a house, you're probably going to go make like 60 grand, but then you have to actually buy it, put money into it, and then resell it again. And there's just a lot more headache to it, where we could literally just be in and out within 14 days and make our money and move on to the next deal. So it's a quick way to just generate a lot of cash very fast without a license.
Let me know if you'd like me to clarify more on what wholesaling is exactly too.
Yeah, no, I think that gets a kind of a pretty good idea if I recap it here a little bit. So essentially, you have people listing houses on the market. You have people that are wanting to buy them, fix them up, and actually do the flipping. And you said they don't have the time to go looking through all these, thousands of properties. So essentially, wholesaling, you're buying those ones and then getting a contract from the person who's going to actually buy it and flip it. But the benefit to them, because that's something I've always wondered with it, right? Is like, why don't they just do it, themselves, right? But the concept of, they don't have that time because they're busy doing all the other stuff. It makes sense. Honestly, you're essentially acting as the middleman and then taking the split on the contract that the difference between it, right? I think I watched one of your videos and it was like 140K was what you guys were going to get it for, and then 150K is what the person was going to pay to flip it. It made 10K on the flip, for example. I think that was on YouTube. Good video, by the way. And one thing I want to ask here is, you mentioned that mentor that you had, and there's a lot of people who just sell courses or maybe scam people, right? How did you come across this mentor, and how did you know that he was legit? Did you put a lot of research into that? Did you know him beforehand? How did that relationship kind of come about?
Yeah, so the person who introduced me to what wholesaling was just one of them dudes that sells courses, and he did a deal proof on his TikTok, right? And he was selling $100 course. And I'm just like, you know what? Let me just see what this is about. And he kind of explained what it was. I'm just like, all right, this has got to be legit. So then I was just honestly doing research. I was watching as many YouTube videos as I could, just trying to see like, what's this about? And then I came across a podcast with Steve Trang and Jamil Damji, and it had a decent amount of views on it. And it basically, he's just breaking down how he's doing 60 deals a month in Phoenix. And I listened to it, and just the way that he communicated and he broke it down and saying what he's doing, it just like made sense. Like, okay, this guy's actually in the business and he's doing it every single month. And now I found out that he's got like a community, like a mentorship program. This just makes sense because he's actually in the business and I can ask him questions direct. Where like this other dude that I saw on TikTok, bro wasn't actually doing deals. He's just selling a course that told people that, oh, you can actually do wholesale deals. So when we actually I did a little bit of research and I found out, okay, he's actually closing deals every month. He's not just bullshitting us. Let's honestly look into this. And then literally you're just getting into a network of other people who are doing the business. So then I'm not just leveraging his knowledge and his experience. I'm connecting with thousands of other wholesalers, real estate investors, people who just got a lot of money that just want to buy deals. Like, I'm just connecting with other people who are in the business. And that's honestly what makes you learn way faster, just getting around people that are doing the thing already. That kind of makes sense.
Yeah. I have to ask, Dylan, how convinced were you when Brandon brought this idea to you? He'd obviously done some research on it, found it, right? You mentioned you dropped out a week later to pursue this. How he's got to have some sales blood in him if it only took you a week on that decision. How convinced were you, and what kind of made the decision stick for you?
Well, honestly, I wasn't even like learning, or I didn't feel like I was advancing at all in life going to college. Honestly, I was just partying on it, like I said, every single weekend. And he was just not partying, just disciplined, working out all the time, trying to like make money. And I'm just like, isn't this the reason I'm going to college, is to make money? And this dude's just like trying to make money right out of the gate. And he's just like, yo, if we sell like 2 or 3 of these houses a month, that's 20, 30K. And I'm just like, dude, we could definitely do that. I was honestly sold on it right away because I was hating doing homework. I'm like, I just thought I just went to high school. I didn't think I had to freaking keep doing homework again. And I'm like 3 semesters into college. I'm like, bro, I'm like about to turn 20 and I'm doing homework. I don't know. That's just how I honestly feel. I honestly hated going to school. It was just honestly, sports was the funnest part. But he's just like, hey, our Uncle Skip, he's flipped a lot of properties and bought like land. Why can't we do it? And we're just like, that's amazing. Like, I just want to own property. I thought I was doing this to buy property, but I'm just like, he's just, hey, we can just make money through this thing. We don't need a real estate license. We can literally just go find a property, make an offer on it. Like, anyone could go to realtor.com today, look up, literally just type fixer in like the keyword search or something. And there'd probably be like 10 listings in whatever area you're in, or within like 50 miles. You can literally call them, make an offer. If it gets accepted, you could literally possibly wholesale that property. So I was just like, this sounds like too good to be true, honestly. And I was honestly sold ASAP because I thought it was dope.
You mentioned the too good to be true idea. I was going to mention, Brandon, did you have any like doubts? Did you have skepticism on this? Obviously you did a ton of research into it, like before you actually started it, but did it seem too good to be true to you too? Or, what was kind of your thoughts when you originally came across it?
It honestly made so much sense to me how the process works that I was just like, I will figure this out. And then a part of that too was I literally got into the Fargo Moorhead real estate investing group, and there was literally other people in Fargo talking about it. So I'm just like, all right, if people are doing this shit in Fargo, I can figure this out too. And then we showed up to meetups and we were just like, yo, we're trying to figure out wholesaling, and everyone was interested in talking to us because all these buyers want to buy deals from people like us who want to go find these deals. So like literally us showing up to a meetup in person, and other investors and like real estate agents, they're just like, oh, no way, really? You're getting into wholesaling? I'm just like, okay, cool. This is so legit. Like, people are literally, these guys are like 30, 40 years old. They own like 200 units. Like they're literally just like this. I wish I would have found out about this when I was your age. So like when older people way further down the line were telling me I wish I would have known about this when I was 18, I was just like, all right, I'm figuring this out. It seems like kind of too good to be true, but like it just resonated so much that I'm just like, this is what I'm doing.
I feel like it's so real. It sounds at one beginning, you're just like, you can just offer on a house, no money, you just get a purchase agreement signed and can sell it for 10K. It sounds like wild, but it's something that happens in every city in the United States, like all the time, multiple times a day.
How important, I think I have a guess here, but how important would you guys say that your networking, the people you know, has been to this process overall? And did you always, so when I was younger, I was like confident. I'm like, I can do anything, right? Which is a good mindset to have. But I was like, I can do anything. I don't need help. Like, I can just do it myself. I'll figure it out. I'm smart. I'll be able to figure it out, right? That ego check of, well, why don't I accept other people's help too if they're willing to help, and maybe, seek out help from others, seek out guidance and knowledge from other people, right? That kind of flipped a switch in me more recently than I care to admit, I guess. And I've started, I think, learning from other people more and more efficiently. With you guys, how important has that networking been? And were you always of the mindset of like, we should try to be learning from everyone out here? Or were you a little more stubborn right away and like, we can just do this ourselves. We can figure it out. How has that balance worked for you? Or have you always been very kind of open to that networking idea as a whole?
I feel like we've definitely always been open to that networking idea. Because he was going to try to do this by himself, but he's just like, yo, let's do this. And I'm just like we both, like, from day one, we're basically on the same page. Like, hey, I'm dropping out of college. I'm going full time into what you're trying to do. Like I'm committing basically my life to this thing. Both of us, like, let's do this together. But I feel like since we played you guys in basketball and like we understood how teamwork was, and we're just like, if we just give it our all, no matter what we're gonna choose to do, if we just go 1,000% and basically treat it like we were doing basketball, like literally just do it every single day, we're not gonna fail if we just try our best. So that's kind of like the mindset we took to it. But it definitely, network is absolutely important, because you can like have all the skills, but if you don't have anyone to do something with, you can't just go make money with no one being involved. There's like, people have to be involved in the entire thing, and not even just real estate, literally in everything you're doing. People have to be involved for the exchange to take place.
Someone's got your money. And I kind of was just like, so our parents own a grocery store in Minnesota. So I was literally working a cash register. So talking to people wasn't something I was scared to do. Like, this is just like a normal thing. You just talk to random people all the time about whatever. So like literally going up to people and asking them like, yo, what's up with like real estate? Like, how do you do wholesaling? Like in person. And then their eyes kind of like lit up, just like I was saying earlier, I wish I would have known about this. I'm just like, cool, what information can you give me so I can get going faster? But like literally the network, like us just connecting with Jamil, and then like the dude that we own, that we live in one of his rental properties right now, Zach Keeps. He's one of our mentors too. He owns 250 single family homes just in Phoenix, and he buys like 10 deals a month. So like literally just being plugged into him, we're seeing more deals. We're getting better at communication. Like we're literally building the skills at a way higher level from people that are way further down the road than us. And it's just like, yeah, you can try and figure it out, do it by yourself. But if you collaborate with other people, you're going to get there way faster, and you're going to probably do way better too, instead of just like putting your head down and like, okay, I'm going to do this by myself. Yeah, you'll figure it out. But like, how far do you really want to go? Because you need people involved if you want to make any money, because someone's got to give you the money, and then you got to give the money to someone else. So it's just, it's always a value exchange that's going on, and like literally networking. If you don't network and you try and do it by yourself, you're not going to do shit, because it's like somebody has your money and you have to talk to them to go get it.
I love the way you word that. Someone has your money. I think that's really brilliant when it comes to the world of business, because you talked about it. I think it was actually Dylan. You mentioned it first too. The idea of sales is needed in literally anything. And maybe it was Brand. I'm not sure which one, but sales is needed in any business. It doesn't matter. It's not just real estate. It's not just, literally anything. You got to talk to people. You got to be able to foster a relationship with someone, whether it's one day a quick transaction or whether it's a year building up to a large deal, right? Like, you're always working with that. Do you guys have any tips, things you've learned around the topic of kind of relationship building with strangers, but then also sales more specifically, and like maybe strategies you guys employ now, different tips that have worked for you?
Yes, I think one thing we understood from the beginning is trying to lead with value. So like how we said we were talking to people in person, but we weren't just like, we were kind of just like, hey, we just need direction. Like, we're coachable as heck. We just tell us like what to do. We'll do it. We'll bring it to you. So when we're going to these meetups and finding people who buy property, we're not just like asking them questions, picking their brain, just like basically take. We're just like, what do you need? Okay, this is what you're looking for. Okay, perfect. I'm trying my best. Do anything you can suggest to me when I'm trying to find something like this for you? And there's like, yeah, go do this. Go say this. This is kind of what I'm looking for. This part of town. This is what I like to buy. We're like, awesome. Thank you for giving me that information. I'm going to go try to find you that same house. So like, that's the reciprocation of values. Just like you gave me the value of helping me and giving me game. I'm going to go try to reciprocate that by trying to find you what you're looking for and basically going and searching that. So like, I feel like having a value exchange going both ways is absolutely important, because then you want to pour into each other, but then it's just like a reciprocation of value, and it's going both ways. You're getting what you're looking for, which is the game, whatever you're trying to learn. They're getting what they're looking for, which is the deals, someone that's hustling, someone that like actually is trying and gonna actually go take action instead of just ask questions and not do anything. So I feel like just trying to lead with value, trying to find what people are looking for. And in our case, like, people that we were talking to want to buy property. So we're just asking, what do you want for? Or like, what do you want? Okay. we're going to go take action. We're not just going to ask questions and then just like, oh, that was fun to learn about that. No, we're just like, we're down to go take action and figure this out and bring you what you're looking for. Thank you for sharing with us. You know what I'm saying?
The fastest way to get what you want is to go give other people what they want first, because then you're going to get it. And like that, we kind of like understood that, because like I'm not going to go hit up somebody who owns 250 rentals and buys 10 deals a month and say, hey, let me just pick your phone for coffee or pick your brain for coffee. Like, let's go meet up. He's just going to like never reply to me again. But what I knew he wanted was more houses. So what we started doing, we just started sending him houses, and he bought 3 from us like within the first 2 months of knowing him. And then he's just like, okay, you guys are some young hustlers that just moved across the country. Let's figure this out and really start helping you guys out. So like we knew what he wanted was houses. So we just started bringing them to him. And then in exchange for that, he just gave us more game, and he showed us how to do this at an even higher level. But it's not even just about business. It's in every single relationship, right? Whether it's like with a chick or, you know, with your bros too. Like for us, the value exchange is like we wake up in the morning. Someone wants to go sleep in. Hey, bro, let's go. All right, we're up. If some person is like, hey, like we're doing this and you both agree to it, and like the value exchange is the accountability, you have to like honestly like respect that. Okay, he's honestly providing value to me by motivating me and getting me out of bed so I can go do push-ups every morning. And it's like it's in every relationship, not just business, right? Like whatever you want, you got to go give people what they want first, and then you're gonna get it.
That concept right there that you just ended on, and you guys talked about this entire time, that is something that it seems so simple, but a lot of people really struggle with it. And it is the number one, I think it's the most important, like you could argue it's one of the most important lessons of life, right? It's relationships. It's every relationship you have. Like you said, what made that stick for you guys and follow through with it, right? I think a lot of people hear about that. They maybe know that, talking in business specifically too, right? They know, okay, I have to give people value, and that's how I'm going to get value. And still, I think a lot of entrepreneurs or business people in general will just, they still just want to take the shortcut and just try and get the value out of the other person right away. Like, what was it that really made it stick and hit home for you guys, that like giving value is actually, it works. It is the best way to get value. Like, was there, you brought up a couple examples, I think earlier, but what was kind of that first moment where it just kind of hit home for you? Because right away people think about that and they're like, well, I'm giving stuff away like for free. Like, how do I get, how does that work that I end up getting the value?
I think if you talk to people, and I want to bring up a book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. When
just
you like
finished reading that one, dude. That's awesome.
Yes, exactly. And you just like, it's basically saying like, talk to them and see what they're looking for, basically. And then also the Go Giver too, which is basically like trying to like give as much value as possible. Like in this exchange, we appreciate you having us on here. You're leading with value, saying, hey, Matt, hey guys, I want you on the podcast. And we're just like, we're going to try to like drop as much game on whatever subject you want as possible, and like try to reciprocate that for you giving us the opportunity to be on your platform. So like thank you for leading with value. And we're trying to like do the same and just like pour into it and do as much as we can and in this like time that we have together. But I think with other people, and you're just like, what can I even bring if I haven't even learned a skill? Even if you're hustling and you're not even connecting the dots or giving success, people don't want to just, okay, I just sat down and had a conversation with you for 20 minutes about this thing that you were asking me about. They want to see you take action. If you just sit still and don't do anything, like even the action can be the reciprocation of value. And so they see you trying and they'll keep pouring into it. Where if you just like take, don't even try anything, like at the beginning, you just trying and taking massive action will be your giving. And eventually you're going to start to get some success and things are going to start to click. You're going to start to figure it out. And then in return, you're going to be getting them what they're looking for, which is why they were pouring into you. And then they're getting what they're looking for, and they'll continue to pour into you. And it's just like an awesome circle. And if you don't even know how to like give out, you just go take massive action and try to bring them what they're looking for, however that is. Do they need a relationship like this? Does like when we go into a seller, maybe we're talking to a person who owns a property and it's not even like a good fit. There's like, hey, this house is super nice. You should probably just list it with the realtor, because like I'm trying to look for a house that's super, like a smelly house like that needs 60 grand worth of work. Maybe you should list it with a realtor. Here's a realtor person. Oh, hey, I don't want to sell my house, but my toilet doesn't work. okay, I have this awesome plumber. He's great. I don't even know the plumber. When I moved down here to Phoenix, I was just like, best plumber in Scottsdale. And I'm just like, hey, this person's awesome. And if they don't answer, here's 2 more. Or like, just go try to like find something and bring them value. Even if you're not getting something in that exchange, just like try to give people what like they're looking for.
Yeah. Also, too, it's like when we first were asking people, like we didn't know what we didn't know, right? So like we went into it not, oh, I know what wholesaling is. I'm gonna be great at this. Like we came and we were vulnerable. Like, yo, I have no idea what I'm doing. If you can help me at all, like like any direction is like what we're looking for. And I got like a pretty cool story. There's these 2 18-year-olds, Nate and Cody. They graduated high school literally in May 2023. They hit me up on Instagram in April and they're just like, yo, dude, we want to start wholesaling. We're not going to college. We're just working at a skateboard shop right now. We ain't got nothing else going on. So I'm just like, cool. Hopped on a call with them. Hey, come to this real estate meetup. These dudes, they look like they're 14. Like if you guys saw them, you'd be like, these guys didn't graduate. Like they look like there's some young bucks for sure. And I'm just like, hey, come to this real estate meetup. I want to meet you in person. They showed up. Okay, cool. These guys take a little bit of action. Hey, come to this one. They showed up. Okay, showing up is half the battle, number one. So when these guys did it twice, I'm just like, all right, these guys are actually about it. Let me spend a little bit more time with them and give them a game plan. So in May, made a game plan. I said, hey, here's the list of phone numbers. All I want is you guys to send me as many off-market addresses as possible, and I will literally coach you through this entire thing. And they literally just went, they didn't ask questions about wholesaling. They didn't ask questions about, hey, well, what if this happens? Hey, where's the earnest money? Hey, what about the contracts? They were just like, you just want me to call this list and send you addresses I get? Yes, that's it. Don't even ask. We'll ask questions on the situation. Because if you're just asking questions, it's all theory. Like there's not an actual like issue. Like, so why are we spending time on it? So they just started firing addresses over, and I'm just like, you guys like are sending out so much stuff. So I'm pouring into them. I'm hopping on phone calls with them. I'm coaching them, telling, hey, this is what I want you to look for. Point this out to the agent. Make this offer. This is what I need you guys to offer on. And literally in 3 months, so they didn't do a deal June, July, and then so they started mid-May, still in high school, 17 years old. Didn't do a deal May, June, July.
Oh, they were hustling.
They were hustling. They were sending me more shit than most agents, most wholesalers in town. These guys were just about it. And they were giving me what I wanted, which was addresses to make offers on. And then in exchange, I'm teaching them the game so then they could go do deals. And in August, they ended up doing 5 deals and they made 30 grand net to them. Literally 18 right out of high school. They were 17 when their first deal closed. They couldn't even have an LLC. I had to literally write them a check. And like, that was the exchange of value right there. It's, hey, I want addresses. You have a lot of time because you're just working at a skateboard shop. Start making calls. And then when the situation pops up, I'll coach you through it and we'll help you out. And they didn't even overthink it at all. They didn't think, oh, well, Phoenix is a competitive market. They're just like, well, he's doing deals. I don't know what I'm doing yet. I'm just going to listen to him because everything he's saying to me sounds like it makes sense. And they just took massive action towards it. So like literally today, I talked to both of them on the phone, literally talking about addresses and saying, hey, this is what we need to offer on this deal. And like, they're just like getting to it. They didn't overthink, hey, let me pick your brain for coffee. No, bro, send me addresses. And then when we close, let's hang out. Let's do some deals. And they were just like, all right, we're all in. Let's do this shit. Now they're doing it full time. And they literally 18, they just got their own place too. And like now there's really fire under their ass. So they got to really keep performing. And it's just honestly really cool because we were in the same spot. But like we didn't have someone like us just giving them the game because it took us 5 months to get our first deal. Where like if we had someone just coaching us every single day and hopping on a call with us and getting on the call with the seller or the agent and walking them through the whole deal, like they learned so much. And we all made money together, and now we're homies, and we're just having fun with it. That's honestly, at the end of the day, you want to do business with people that you can have fun with, you trust them, you're friends with. Like, if it's not a fun time doing business, like, why are you even doing business in the first place? And those guys just got it. They were just like, cool, these guys are fun. They keep telling me to do push-ups after 20 calls. I'm just going to, like, listen to what they're doing. And that's literally the exchange right there. Just like, I want addresses. You want the game. Let's collaborate. Let's make it happen. Now they're making 10K a month, and like literally they're 18 out of high school.
That's an amazing story. I have to, there's so many things I want to bring up here. First of all, you guys talk about how taking action is the first step. It's the biggest step, right, at the beginning. And it's also one of the, probably the most important, right? And you also talked about how that shows the reciprocation of value, right? And it shows that you're just respecting their time. Honestly, if you ask people stuff, they answer you. They're willing to take the time to answer you, and then you do nothing with it. Well, that just shows them that, like, well, why did I waste my time doing that? Where what you're bringing up is actually so huge, of like, you're showing that person then that you really do respect their opinion, and you're actually going and taking time out of your day doing what they told you. And that's how much you value what they said. So like, that's exactly right. It's a nail on the head as far as that goes. And another thing I want to talk about here is the persistence and also the discipline that it took. Before we get into that, actually, you guys started this. It said, you mentioned it took you like 5 months to get your first deal. What was it ever a struggle in those first 5 months, or maybe since? I would guess probably not since, but in those first 5 months, were you ever like, dude, I don't know, like, we're not making money yet, we're not getting rich yet, like, it's been 2 months and we don't have any money yet, like, what are we doing? Should we just switch ideas? Because that's something a lot of people do, right? They shift over to the next idea, try it for a little bit, shift over to the next idea, try it for a little bit. What was it that really kept you guys disciplined and persistent with sticking to this, like, no, we're going to keep doing this? Or was it a challenge right away?
First thing, you're asking awesome questions. This is good. Thanks for letting us just like freaking fire hose and scream at our computer. This is
Dude,
great.
no, this is how it should be. I love it.
Yeah.
I feel like we both know we played you guys. You guys were absolute better athletes than us. You guys understand the discipline it takes every single day to wake up and just grind. But like, I feel like basketball for us was something that just really instilled that in us, because we were just hooping basically every single day from kindergarten until like I graduated, and same for him. And like, that's what we would do at home basically, is just shooting in our driveway every single day. Like, we had to like play basketball and do the thing. Like, that's the thing we wanted to be great at in that time of our life. So we just knew, like, I feel like and then when we started, we just took that same concept to real estate. Is just like, if we just try our best every single day and like literally giving up, that is the failure. Like, you're not even gonna like, if you're like learning and not taking any lessons from like your failures, that's maybe a fail. But like, saying you stop and quitting and letting all that doubt come in, that will be the failures the minute you stop. So if you just like bet on it, it's not gonna look good. But I swear, if you just keep going every single day and trying your best, just putting it in freaking as many hours as possible, and you just like really try and don't give up, because giving up is the failure. So if you just don't stop trying, I feel like the hardest point was after we've done 6 deals and we just moved from Fargo, North Dakota, packed everything in my one truck, because he didn't even have a car anymore, and we moved across the country, renting an Airbnb for 3 months. We had like 12 grand, and the Airbnb was like 3,200 a month. So like, in the next 3 months, we got 9 grand in rent we gotta pay, and we gotta live on the remaining 3 for our food, our gas, like every single thing. Like, we ain't got nothing but time because we haven't got any dollars. But
yeah,
I'm gonna keep going after you. Yeah.
I think like athletics is honestly a huge part of it, because real estate, it's honestly the same. Like, you get into it your first year, you're basically like a rookie, but as you do it every single day, you get better at communicating, you get better at seeing deals, you just attract more opportunities. It's the same with like basketball, right? The first time
Basketball,
you pick up
lifting.
yeah, even like lifting or basketball, like you shoot a basketball the first time, you suck, honestly. You don't even know what you're doing. Then you do it for 10 years straight, and you're just like, damn, I can like make like 8 out of 10 3-pointers every time that I shoot the ball. So it's honestly like the same thing. We both knew, okay, we don't know what we're doing, but as long as we keep trying every day, we're going to get better at this. So it doesn't make sense to like go try something else, because obviously 5 months into it, boom, we actually made money now. Like, okay, we were at the point, I ended up hitting a deer with my car, but we didn't even have money to pay rent. But me getting an insurance truck from totaling my car gave us more time to spend to keep wholesaling. And that's literally, because like, if you're broke, the only thing you really have is time. So we were just like, well, shit, we're not going to lose anything else. Now I have more money, so I can keep paying rent for the next 3 months. Why would we change and do anything else? Like, this is like, we're just getting closer to it. And yeah, like he said, we did 6 deals and then we moved across the country and we didn't do a deal for 4 months. So we didn't even see any more money come in, but we knew, okay, this has already worked. I'm not going to fold. I'm not going to go back to Minnesota. We're staying here. We're figuring this shit out. Because, like, we already don't got enough money to make it back to Minnesota. So, like, what are we going to do? Just keep making calls. And, like, literally, I think everyone always gets to the part where it's just, like, you can either fold or you can persevere and get through it.
That's the testing point.
That's the testing point. And when you persevere and get through it, that's when the universe will reward you. Where if you fold, you basically go restart back at 0. Now you got to climb the mountain again. But, like, literally that, we didn't do a deal September, October, November, and then after Christmas in December, like we got screenshots of our bank account because we knew we were making money. Like, bro, we had like $600 like combined total
to our name on Christmas of 2021.
And then the next week we made 30 grand. Literally, we went from like no money at all, just being like, shit.
We couldn't even drive to Minnesota. Like, we couldn't even drive back home. We don't got enough money for gas to drive across the country. Like, we got zero, like Christmas of 20, like less than 2 years ago to this day, we had $600 in our bank account on Christmas. And we're just like, well, our Airbnb is ending in about 4 days, but we just ripped 200 calls a day for the past 4 months. And we had deals in the pipeline that were going to be ending up closing. And like in real estate, like it's not even a done deal until it closes. We've had some stuff happen where like it was right there and it totally falls apart last minute. One literally happened last week. Now it's fine. It doesn't really affect us, but like it could affect you in like a situation. But we could have just like gone like 45 days without locking up a deal. And we moved down like last week of September, October. We were just making the phone calls every single day, dialing like 200 people a day off of our cell phones. Or like Google Voice too. No deal, like 30 days, no results. And then like literally didn't even lock up a deal until the week of Thanksgiving. So like went about 45 to 50 days without even getting one thing, like one offer accepted. And then we get a contract. But the thing is, this deal's not even going to close until after Christmas. So we got about another 35 days before any money come in. So there's kind of like a light at the end of the tunnel after 45 days where it's like, oh my gosh, we got, hopefully it closes. Hopefully got a 17K check coming in before Christmas, but we still like don't got any dollars coming in until then. So like, we're just going to keep going. But that October we moved down there when we went 30 days in our first month, we didn't have anything to show for it. We just like moved across the country and in 30 days, nothing even really happened. It seemed, but we were building the skills just by how many reps we were getting in. Because like imagine you do 200 push-ups for 30 days straight, but you never did a push-up before. You're going to be way better at doing push-ups by the end of the 30 days than if you wouldn't have done that at all. So we were building the skills and didn't have anything physical to show for it, but we were like transforming and like basically advancing towards what we were looking for. And then ended up doing 3 deals in that December, had dollars again. And then we've just like kept our foot on the gas.
The rest is history. Yeah. You mentioned that you didn't have anything maybe tangible or physical to show for that time, that work you were putting in, but really you guys are the asset, right? Especially in anything that involves where your direct job includes like sales. And I think in learning the skill of relationships and sales, like you are the asset. So you doing that and doing that time, like you understood it. But for anyone out there who maybe doesn't, like you guys are proof of it, right? Like you guys were the asset. You were getting better. You were chiseling away at the sculpture that was about to be made, right? And you just couldn't quite see it yet. But then once it hits, it hits. And you mentioned that time when you guys were, Christmas of 2021. Did that test your guys' relationship at all? You guys are obviously brothers, if anyone hasn't figured that out, Trana bros, right? Were there any times, like, you know how the relationship of brothers can be, it should be pretty tight in most cases, right? But were there any times where it was a difficulty where one of you guys, anything like that?
It's kind of like what we were talking about earlier. There's a fair value exchange because like when one of us was getting discouraged, the other one would lift him up and say, hey, bro, we're broke. Start making calls. Who cares? Like, don't care about your feelings right now. We have no money. Like, what are you crying for, bro? Like, there was like a fair value exchange. I don't think there's tension between us. I think it only made our relationship even stronger because like we've already gone through everything together. Like, what is this really? Honestly, at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Like we were I think it made us even more stronger and like deepened our relationship because we literally knew nobody. I think when we moved here.
Yeah, and I think just like going back to the team sports, if one person on the whole team starts pouting, the whole team feels that anchor and like feels that drain and that energy suck. So when one of us starts like complaining or feeling discouraged or like saying these emotions out loud, it's just like, bro, I don't care. I don't really want to hear it. We still ain't got no dollars. Who cares if you're like complaining about it? We still got to do the thing if we want the thing. So yeah, I don't think we started beefing about it because I think we just knew like we just got to keep fucking going.
Yeah.
I'm trying to swear again.
No, that's totally cool. Do you guys have specific roles now within it? Obviously in the beginning you were both just hammering calls, and yeah, that totally could still be the case. I don't know, but do you have specific roles that you've kind of worked out of maybe who's better at what area or who might be more efficient at one area or the other, or not really? Do you guys do the same stuff still?
I think for our first 2 years of like consistently doing deals, so basically all of 2020, basically I guess all of like the later part of 2021 and then all of 2022 and until like basically April of this year, we were both just doing the same thing, both just trying to find deals. And then in April, we kind of made the switch. He wasn't really vibing with it anymore. He was like still doing deals, but it just wasn't the action he was doing wasn't really giving him energy. And there was something else. Basically, now we've transitioned. I'm finding the deals. So I'm basically calling the realtors all the time and trying to like get properties under contract and like offer on properties. And then basically he's talking to people who buy properties all day. So he's talking to buyers and then also other wholesalers. So basically I'm finding the deals and he's selling the deals.
Your demand, he's supply, kind of.
Yeah, we were just doing the same thing, and then I honestly just didn't get energy from it anymore. Like it was kind of just like I would wake up and be like, "Damn, I got to go make these calls, bro. I ain't trying to talk to any of these people today." But I would still do it, right? Because it's just like, all right, well, this is the work that has to be done. But Dylan, he's sweet talking these agents, bro, getting deals done, and I'm just like watching. It's like, dang, this is awesome. But I wasn't really vibing with it. And then that's when I kind of started switching, and I'm talking to like cash buyers now. And then I'm coaching other wholesalers because I get fired up when I see two 18-year-olds just freaking crushing it. Like that just gives me a lot of energy just to see them literally go from being scared to talk to me on the phone to now they're just making 30 G's in a month. Like that just like it gives me a lot of energy. So like I literally focus all my time on coaching other wholesalers and then selling our deals and selling their deals for them and doing JV deals because they're like the equal value exchange. I have the game. I'm going to leverage your guys' time. We're going to do these deals together. Now you're going to learn how to make money. And like so Dylan, yeah, he's doing all of our acquisitions, finding our direct deals. And then I'm just literally coaching other wholesalers on how to get deals under contract and I'm selling their deals for them. And like, I honestly got a lot more energy and like literally from that switch of us dividing and conquering and having different roles, our business literally started to explode. Like I didn't do a deal for the first 4 months of this year. And then in May, so like I didn't do a deal January, February, March, April. In May, I did 5 deals. Then all summer and even till like literally like this month, we're doing 6 deals this month. Like literally we've just been on fire since we found like our role and what works for us. Where like I was literally trying to cut down a tree with a butter knife and now I found a chainsaw basically is like the best analogy for it.
I just watched a video, Alex Hormozy video. He was talking about hacking away at a tree that might be a mile wide with an axe. But if you flip your axe and work for a year to turn that axe into a lightsaber, you can cut it way quicker and catch up to people a lot faster. So that's funny you brought up that analogy right there. What about some lessons and challenges that you guys faced specifically on the wholesaling end of things? Obviously, a lot of it involves sales. What were some specific challenges, lessons that you learned maybe early on, or maybe that you're still learning of just which ones were the ones that then led to growth, right? You were stagnant for a while. You kind of overcame this difficulty, learned this lesson, and then got a little bit of growth, right? Then you're stagnant again, jump over another hurdle, have some more growth? What was kind of some of those for you guys so far?
I think honestly, just starting when you're 18, you don't think people in real estate are going to take you seriously. And I think that was honestly a big part of it. But like when we would go talk to people and they're just like, dang, I wish I would have started when I was your age. Like that was literally just like, okay, these guys are taking me seriously. They want to buy my deals. Somebody's going to take me seriously when I'm trying to go buy their house. And like, so that was the first struggle, was just like, dang, am I too young? Because like when you think real estate, most people think, okay, old realtor, they have their license. They're kind of just like an older person that does it. Like when you're 18, you're just like, you don't see any other 18-year-olds doing this. So you're just like, dang, can I even do this at this age? Or like, do I have to be an older person to do it? So that was honestly like a pretty big hurdle right away. But then honestly, our communication skills are pretty decent. At the time, they were like, they're way better now. Like at the time, that was like a big thing, was kind of like, okay, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just going to try and sound as confident as possible. So then they take me more seriously. And like older people down the road, they see young hustlers and they're just like, dang, this is awesome, honestly. And then I'm literally just feeding off that energy. So I'm just gaining more confidence. So that was honestly a pretty decent hurdle right away. It was just like, okay, I'm really young. Who's going to take me seriously? I'm literally giving offers, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 offers. I'll have like $600 in my bank account. Who's going to really trust me to buy their house? But like, if you just have fun and be authentic, people will trust you and they'll resonate with that. And that's honestly something that I've learned, is literally just be authentic. Don't pretend to be someone. Don't be fake. Like just be yourself, because nobody wants to do business with someone who's literally fake. It's just like, what's the whole point of doing it?
I think a big thing our mentor Jamil Damji teaches is having an abundance mindset. Like there's an abundance of opportunities out there. There's not a shortage of really anything on here, because the people that are really trying, there's not that many of them. So like the ones that are like really trying, you'll find everything that you're looking for. But even just like that, there's not an abundance of dollars. They just printed trillions of dollars. So like, trust me, there's no shortage of dollars. If one person has a lot of dollars, trust me, like there is no shortage of dollars on this earth. So I feel like changing from like scarcity and just being like, oh man, I don't want to like spend any like dollars, or like having a lot of dollars is bad. I feel like I never thought like having a lot of dollars was bad, but like realizing there is a whole bunch of opportunity and relationships out there. But like, I think the biggest thing is having an abundance mindset with like relationships too. Like if we both win, that's cool. There doesn't always have to be a loser. Like, and then like, I feel like times where I've maybe slipped into scarce minded thinking, or like, I need to get this deal. I need to like have this. I need, like, coming from that place of like lack, that you like don't already have something, or you're not going to be good unless this one outcome happens, and just like changing it to an abundance mindset. I'm going to like try my best. If it happens, cool. If it doesn't, I was at least trying my best and learning from it. And I feel like that's like a big thing. Or just like if someone else wins, I'm not like losing. We can both like be winning, and everyone can be crushing it, because there's not really a ton of people out here really trying their best. So if you are, there is no competition. There's not really competition if you're trying your best. So like if you think, like a lot of people we hear in Phoenix, a lot of people here wholesale and different. They like live here in Arizona, but they wholesale somewhere else, which the concept doesn't make sense to me, because like I personally want to like do deals where I live and meet the people I'm doing business with. But people here think like, oh, Phoenix is competitive. There's so many wholesalers. But I'm just like, yeah, but how many of them are like just trying their best? It's not really competitive. Or like, how many people are like out here trying their best? There's an abundance of the opportunity. And I feel like just having that abundance mindset in relationships, in opportunities, in just that, like, if I'm trying my best, God will provide for me. I'm not going to like not be good. I'll be fine. I feel like having that abundance and just like abundance mindset in like everything that's going on. Like if someone's crushing it, even if you're not crushing it, and you're just like, heck yeah, that's freaking awesome that you're crushing it, and not like feeling weird if someone else is crushing it, like letting jealousy and like these weird emotions that don't produce anything good ever seep in. That's what you'll get if that's the emotions that you let control you. But if you just see like goodness and like, hey, I'm not there yet, but that's freaking awesome that you're there. That's freaking sweet. Having that type of vibe and energy towards it, you're going to get what you receive. So if you're just putting out goodness and there's an abundance of all this, that's what you'll get back. Or if you're just like, oh man, they're doing like more, oh man, they're stealing like all the deals in town, or just like something. I'm just relating it to wholesaler talk right now. But I feel like having an abundance mindset and not like thinking scarcely or thinking like I can't win if someone else is definitely, I think that's a game changer that we definitely learned from our mentor.
I listened to an episode of Lex Friedman's podcast with Andrew Huberman, and something you said there kind of resonated with me. They discussed the concept of overt versus covert relationships. Overt relationships being, I present you something of value, you present me something of value in exchange, we make the deal, we both win, right? And that's it. There doesn't have to be a loser, like you mentioned before. I think people think about in business all the time, one company succeeding, one going out of business, one person getting the sale, one person not. And that is very true, like to an extent. But at the same time, in order to make that deal, like the actual deal itself, someone's getting value and the other person is also getting value, or they wouldn't do the deal. You know what I mean? Unless you're scamming them, but that's a totally different category. And that's where covert relationships come in. Covert relationships being, you present something of value, the other person gives something of value, and either A, one of those things is not actually valuable and it's, a scam, or B, the other person then, one of them tries to get like more out of it or give less to try and feel like they win. And it comes back to that same concept. You mentioned the abundance mindset, right? Of, no, there's enough to go around for everyone. Like everyone thinks business people are just, greedy. And there's probably a lot of them actually that are, but like there is enough to go around for everyone is the moral of the story that you're getting at there. And I think that's a huge one to keep in mind, because it goes back to the beginning when you talked about the, value circle, right? Of giving value, getting it, giving value, getting it. It all comes around. What goes around comes around. And I think, you're kind of building up that karma, right? Like you do a lot of good, the universe is going to give back to you. And I think it's a wise way to think of it, because it's the best way to think of it, right? Otherwise, you're just going to go about your life being cynical, never giving anything, and always expecting the world to just hand things to you. And that's not the right way to go about it either. So one thing I have to ask though, how did you guys decide on Phoenix? You're from a small town, Minnesota. You go to Phoenix. Did you pick that due to some research of the wholesaling markets? Is that just somewhere you wanted to live? It's also small town versus big city flip. Did you just know you had to go to a big city in order to, make big money perhaps? Or what was kind of your thought process in that decision? Because it was obviously a big one early on.
Yeah, so I wouldn't consider Fargo, North Dakota a big city at all by any means. But literally moving from 800 people to 200,000 people, I personally liked it. I love the small town thing for sure, but like I can't do it all year round. So us moving to Fargo kind of opened up my mind a little bit to like, okay, well, shit, I can live here. There's a lot more people. I'm just going to make more friends, right? Like I don't have to hang out with the same 5 people every single day. But then, so Jamil Damji, he's based in Phoenix. And when we first getting into wholesaling, we're just like, go to these real estate meetups in Fargo. Not a lot of people are doing a crazy amount of business like how much we want to do. And it's kind of like a slower moving market. Like Fargo Moorhead is like, it's more of like a stable market. Like it's not going to crash. It's not going to really high appreciation. It's kind of just going to slowly go up over time. Where like in Phoenix, Jamil's doing 60 deals a month. And we're just like, okay, well, there's obviously way more money to make there. And our uncle he owns a bunch of farmland and he's flipped houses before. He lives in Arizona. So we're just like, okay, he's literally out there. This is great. And then we literally came here to visit in March of 2021 for our cousin's wedding. And we literally were just like, this is a place that just feels good that we could live at. I've never felt this anywhere besides literally Henning and Fargo. So like, this is a place that feels good because we go to Minneapolis, bro. I don't know about you, but I personally would never live there. Not my thing. But like, we came to Phoenix. We're like, this place is freaking dope. This feels good. Like I could live here. I'm looking at these houses. Like these are the things that I'm trying to like buy. These are good assets. And it's honestly a really business friendly state. It's landlord friendly. So like, you don't got to worry. Like in California, someone can stop paying rent and they got 2 years to live for free. You can get someone out in 30 days here in Arizona. It's just really business friendly. It kind of just seems like more people got their head on straight here, not going to lie. But literally our uncle throwing that wedding And us coming down here was a huge part of like, okay, we're trying to do this virtually and now we can physically see it. This is awesome. Like, this is a place that we could actually like live at. And that was honestly part of it. And then when we went back after the wedding was done, we were just like even more motivated. We're just like, we're moving to Phoenix. I don't care what it takes. We're going to do deals and we're moving there. And then we ended up just making the jump a couple months later. But that was probably a big part of it, was just coming here physically and just feeling like, okay, I could live here. Because we didn't just like move on a whim. Like, we visited the place. We're just like, all right, this is pretty dope, honestly. We could stay here, and we're already trying to wholesale these houses. It makes more sense to come build relationships in person.
One thing I want to ask, what do you think? I'm trying to decide which one. I have two more things. I'm trying to decide which one to ask first here. Where do you guys see yourself in 5 years, 10 years? What are your guys' aspirations, goals, whether they're, tangible, intangible? Sometimes goals can't always be valued or exactly correct. Like, you have your SMART goals in high school, right? Specific, measurable, attainable, all the acronyms. But then sometimes there's goals that is just kind of, they base off a feeling, right? Like, I want to, become better in some certain way. You can't exactly measure, right? What are some of the goals and aspirations that you guys have over the next 5, 10 years, or, your life, whatever?
I think always, of course, like, growing our business, but I feel like the big thing for us is we've always, just with our basketball team, us being brothers, I feel like us two on our basketball team made the whole team kind of act and treat each other like brothers. I think for us, our brand is basically Trana Bros. It's kind of like, I feel like it's honestly for us the most important thing. I like you and Alex are pushing each other every single day. I think it's absolutely awesome. I think for us, it's just been like probably the big, not probably, it is the biggest thing, honestly, in our life, is just being brothers, pushing each other every single day. I feel like we connect with other like-minded people, but then we're kind of the bros that makes the entire group be bros. I feel like just to continue building that, I'm not sure if we build like a community of bros, or I'm not sure what it's going to be built into yet, but I feel like just really doubling down on that, being strong, pushing each other, trying to basically help more men realize, like, it's great to like be separate and like not be around your bros, but being with your bros is super absolutely important if you want to be the absolute best man that you want to be. I really look up to, honestly, the Tate brothers and like what they're doing. I think what they're doing is absolutely awesome, and I basically agree with everything that they say, honestly. I love how they just like really emphasize why you need to be around strong men, even if you don't have an actual brother. Being around someone that's going to push you every single day, I think just basically that whole vibe of just like brotherhood and just becoming the absolute best man that you can be in the eyes of God is honestly kind of the future plan, to just doing the work every single day, trying to become the best we can absolutely be. And then obviously all the other things, the business, the dollars, all the other things that we're looking for are going to come. But I feel like that's like the main focus for us.
It's honestly probably the most important thing in our lives, because like when we were broke as shit, we were having fun just hanging out together. Now that we're making pretty decent money, we got a successful business, and like we can literally travel. Like, we've been like this month, Miami and LA already, like literally on the opposite side of the country. Now we're in Phoenix, and like we're already trying to plan our next trip. Like, we went from literally having $600 total. You can't even freaking fill up your car with gas 7 times with that anymore. So now we can like literally do whatever we want. But like, it doesn't even matter about the money or the experience. It matters more so that we've had each other the whole time. And like, bro, we were sitting in South Phoenix. South Phoenix is like the North Minneapolis of like Phoenix. It's like the ghetto, basically. We're sitting in this Airbnb, broke as shit. We're laughing, having a fun ass time. And now we're living in South Scottsdale, right in Old Town. We're just literally laughing, having a good ass time. Like, it didn't change. Just like the quality of the relationship just continues to grow, and we're just elevating each other. And we just want to be an example for other people in the whole world, right? Because like, you're not going to be competitive if you're by yourself, because you don't know who you're competing against. But if you wake up every day and someone's already doing push-ups and you haven't got out of bed yet, oh shit, I'm losing, but like I'm not losing in a competition because he's just bettering himself. So I have to do the same so I can stay on the same level. And that's honestly kind of our future, is just we really want to be the example of like how men should act around each other, because we can all win, right? There's not a cap on success for anybody in any niche. Like we can all just be the example and like help each other out, like regardless of what it is, whether it's fitness, relationships, money, like it doesn't really matter. Like we can all push each other to be better. And like I think there needs to be more healthy competition like that. So we just honestly want to be like that example and kind of build our brand based off of that. Because it's like our basketball team, it was us two brothers. There's two pairs of twins, and they had an older brother. And then there was another pair of brothers, and it's kind of just like, I ain't talking shit. I love all those boys. Like if any of them call me, they know I got their back. But none of them are doing anything together. They all live separately and they're not doing shit. It's just like, bro, you don't understand how lucky you are to have somebody that's your age and you're biologically the same person. Like, you know what you can accomplish together. And it's kind of sad to honestly see, okay, they separate, they're not working together, they barely talk, and it's just like, bro, like you grew up with this person your whole life and you're not even hanging out. It's just like, we were chilling in our freaking living rooms when we were 4 or 5 years old, literally just hanging out. We're literally right now doing a podcast in our living room, hanging out. It ain't going to change when we're 40, 50, 60 years old. It's going to be the same thing. We're just going to be at a different level. It's going to be a bigger living room. It's going to be a private jet. Whatever it is, doesn't matter. Like, we could literally go back to South Phoenix and be broke again. We're still going to have a fun time doing it. We're just going to try and elevate, just be competitive. I think that's honestly the future of, like, our brand, honestly. And that's, like, the impact that we're trying to make. Like, the money and all of the experiences, it's going to come. But, like, at the end of the day, it's just, like, what are you going to really impact the world with? And, like, what kind of legacy are you going to like leave behind when we're all going to die, right? So I want to be remembered as like, damn, those guys made me closer relationship with my own brother, or I was kind of all by myself, the lone wolf. And now I got a pack. It's all the boys, like we're all crushing it. We're all hanging out, just having a fun time. Like we just honestly want to be the example of that.
I love that. I have to ask here. I actually thought of another thing, and I don't want to just jump from. There's so many things I want to bring up, honestly, but we have limited time. It's like one of the things I thought of there was, what was you mentioned the brotherhood that you guys had, right? And you guys have been with each other through thick and thin. What was the reception like from people that weren't you guys? You know, maybe your old past friends or past relationships you had. How have they kind of received? Did they support you and, you know, going to Phoenix and just going off and jumping on the ship to go on the adventure? Or were they hesitant? Were they worried? Are they not supportive now? You know, anything like that, you know, obviously that within reason that you care to share?
I think I'll touch on my mom and dad first. I think that they honestly knew if us two are together and we just try our best at whatever we do, it doesn't matter that it could be real estate, working out, boxing, like the thing that we choose to do, it doesn't really matter. But if we do it together and we put our minds to it, we're going to be successful at it. So I feel like for our mom and dad, it was honestly awesome. Honestly, when we weren't hanging out and I went and stayed at college for a year, I honestly turned into probably the worst version of myself I've ever been. And when we started living together again, then now I feel like I'm the best man that I've ever been. Just being around and staying in check and staying accountable with my brother. So I think that's been like a huge thing for our mom and dad, is just they know that us two being together, we're going to be the best that we can absolutely be. And we're going to keep each other in check, watch out for each other, make sure we're both doing the right things, not getting into stupid situations. But I guess other people, I think they definitely think it's weird, but I don't even know. But I don't think they've ever had anything to compare it to. Like, we have had people like, wait, what? You just live with your brother and you like share everything and like do everything together, and you like even your bank accounts and everything. And just like, yeah, to like us, it just makes sense. Like, this is just like what we do. This is just kind of like what we've thought was normal the whole time. But I guess there's definitely been people that just like, what, you do like everything with your brother? Like, yes.
It's really interesting too, right? Like, because being an entrepreneur, you're obviously not following the path that everyone else is on. So when you say, yo, I'm not going to college, or hey, I'm dropping out so we can start this business, right? I think people just don't understand right away. Because, bro, okay, I had $25K saved up in my bank account. I'm not bullshitting. I was getting called I'm being a drug dealer by so many people back in Henning, and I know all of them. And now, so at first, right, they're just like, no, these guys are just selling drugs. There's no way, blah, 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 this and that.
They're
like
selling
whatever.
weed in Fargo.
Selling weed in Fargo. They're just potheads doing whatever, right? And I was like plotting. I'm just like, I know what they're talking because I had like whistleblowers letting me know. Because like there were some homies that were just like, hey, I don't know what you're doing, but I support you as long as you're happy doing it, as long as you're just being safe, whatever. And then there were some people who were like best friends that were like low key shit talking, but they meant it. And it's just kind of interesting to see, okay, when I first started this journey and I wasn't making any success, people were just like, I told you, I told you, I told you. And now it's flip-flopped to like, okay, cool. Now we're living a really out of the normal lifestyle that now they're just like, hell yeah, this is great. And it's awesome. And it's just like, hey, honestly, I remember what you were saying. I don't really hold a grudge. I don't give a fuck. It's not going to change my life. Excuse my language again. It's not going to change what I do on a day-to-day. But I do remember what you were telling me when I first got this started. And it's kind of weird to see how people can like act differently when you go outside the norm. Because it honestly got lonely, bro. Like I said, everyone in my past, they can hit me up anytime. They know I got their back. I only have their best interest in mind. But honestly, I can't say the same back if I were to hit up somebody else and say, hey, yo, this is what's going on. I kind of need some help. I don't know if I have that because it does get lonely, right? Like we're off the path. We're not going to parties every single weekend. We're not going to college. We're not doing the thing that everyone else is doing. So they see us as kind of an outsider, and it kind of gets lonely. But it helped that we just had each other. So I didn't really care because like none of these guys were in my living room when I was 4. And like if we're in our living room, like it's not going to really change anything. So
I think at the beginning it was definitely like they're just like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm gonna actually start wholesaling real estate and dropping out of college, and you just get like they're just like looking. There's like, what is this dude saying? Like he is speaking a different language right now. This doesn't even what you're saying. It's kind of like, oh, okay, man. Like, yeah, fucking go do your thing, dude.
I bet you guys can even for having a podcast. I bet there's people that are just like, why are you having a friggin' podcast, bro? Who are you to have anyone talk to you on camera for an hour and 20 minutes about whatever?
You tell me you're doing 3 podcasts a week, and I'm like, bro, you're doing 3 podcasts a week? That's freaking amazing. I need to start a podcast.
Bro. It's crazy for real. And like, I just think that literally just having like you got like Alex literally in the background, you guys are just supporting each other. It's just important to have people supporting you because like when you go off the path, it does get lonely, but you just end up attracting people who fit your vibe, and then you find new friends, new relationships. People in the past, they're gonna say what they want. Call me a drug dealer still. I don't really care. I've never sold drugs in my life. I definitely smoked weed. I will not deny that. 100% I have. I never sold drugs. I was just straight wholesaler, and I was getting called a drug dealer because how is this guy living without having a job? Oh, he's just a bum. All this and that. Now I'm just like, okay, whatever. You know, it's kind of interesting to kind of see how people shift.
Honestly, no resentment to the people because I get it. Like trying to go do something is like making that jump and not just going the society route. It seems scary, but like for us, no one in our family like even like went to college. Like my grandparents on both sides and my parents own businesses. Like this just made sense to us, and like it's just kind of like what fit our vibe. And like I don't got no resentment to the people. Got weird looks and stuff, and like stopped and like seemed like distancing, and it did get lonely for a minute, but it honestly just showed us the ones that have been like down for us and supporting us the whole time. And I honestly just want to be surrounded by those people.
15 seconds or less each, boys. That was gold right there. I loved it. It's all true too. I mean, it really is. What, in your guys' words, like I said, try and keep it brief. What separates you guys from the average? Why? What is it that makes you successful? Do you have a daily routine? Is it just the persistence? Is it the, connections you've made? Like 15 seconds or less. I know it's impossible to do it in that time. What's the biggest thing that you think separates you from the average people that go out and try and do what you did?
There's 2 of us.
Yeah. I think, us 2 pushing each other every single day. And even if you don't have a brother, like you and Alex aren't brothers, but you guys push each other every single day.
We talk about that. Yeah. It's like he doesn't have a brother. I have a brother who's much older than me, has a family, has this thing. and we're like, we're essentially our similar age brothers. Like, we're what we got, so we might as well send it now. And boys, that was an awesome episode. That flew by. It was great conversation. Absolutely loved it. I can't speak enough. That was awesome. How can people find you guys? I probably should ask that at the beginning, but how can people find you guys, connect with you guys? Trana Bros on everything.
I think just look up our names on IG. First of all, thank you for having us. Those were awesome questions. I had fun.
Yeah,
we were kind of for a little bit just screaming at our computer and really going off. So thanks for letting us just kind of just do our thing. But
this is honestly one of the best podcasts I've been on, because we've been on a decent amount of them, bro. But I had so much fun, honestly.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, brother.
But yeah,
Happy to
find
hear
us
that.
on Instagram. Just my name, Brandon Trana. Same for him.
Instagram or Facebook, just search our name, Dylan Trana, and yeah, we'll get connected. But thank you for having us on, brother.
Appreciate it, you guys.